You're not enough. Those three words, spoken loud enough for an entire restaurant to hear, would shatter one woman's heart and awaken something fierce in a single father who'd been teaching his 7-year-old son about dinosaurs just 3 tables away. What happened next in that cozy Seattle restaurant on a Friday evening in late October wasn't planned. It wasn't heroic. It was simply a choice, one that would change 3 lives forever and prove that sometimes the most broken moments create the most beautiful beginnings. Before we continue, please tell us, where in the world are you tuning in from? We love seeing how far our stories travel. The copper kettle smelled like garlic bread and caramelized onions. Collins Dawson sat across from his son Levi in their usual corner booth, watching the boy color a T-Rex with intense concentration, his tongue poking out the side of his mouth the way it always did when he focused. "Dad, do you think dinosaurs had favorite foods?" Levi asked, not looking up from his menu masterpiece. Collins smiled, grateful for the millionth time that he had this kid. "I bet they did, buddy, just like you and your mac and cheese obsession." "It's not an obsession, it's a refined palate." He said the words carefully, clearly repeating something he'd heard from his teacher. Collins was about to respond when movement near the entrance caught his attention. A man in his late 20s, designer jacket, expensive watch, the kind of guy who checked his reflection on every surface, was seated at a nearby table. The man's expression was impatient, bored. He ordered a drink without looking at the waitress and kept glancing toward the door. Collins recognized that look. Obligation, not anticipation. 10 minutes passed. The man checked his phone 4 times. Collins had turned his attention back to Levi's elaborate plans for his volcano science project when the restaurant door opened again. A young woman with long blonde hair wheeled herself inside, maneuvering a sleek wheelchair with the kind of ease that spoke of years of practice. She was beautiful. Delicate features, nervous smile, dressed carefully for what was clearly an important evening. Collins watched her scan the restaurant, saw the moment her eyes found designer jacket guy. Her whole face lit up. "Trevor, I'm Tiffany. It's so nice to finally—" Collins saw it happen in slow motion. The man's polite, waiting expression didn't just fade, it collapsed. His smile dropped like someone had cut the strings holding it up, replaced with something ugly, disgust. His eyes traveled from her face to her wheelchair and back, his lip actually curling. "You've got to be kidding me." The words carried across the restaurant. Several diners looked up. Levi stopped coloring. Collins felt his stomach drop. "I'm sorry?" Tiffany's voice was small, confused. Trevor, if that was even his real name, leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms like she was something offensive he needed to distance himself from. "Rachel didn't mention this." He gestured at her wheelchair, not even trying to lower his voice. "Look, I'm going to be straight with you because I don't believe in wasting time. This isn't going to work." "I don't understand." But Tiffany did understand. Collins could see it in the way her hands gripped her armrests, knuckles white. "I mean, come on. I'm an active guy. I run marathons. I go hiking every weekend. I need someone who's whole, someone who can actually keep up with me, someone normal." Collins watched Tiffany physically recoil, as if she'd been slapped. "I'm not incomplete," she said, her voice trembling but firm. "I'm just—" "You're not enough." Trevor stood abruptly, pulled out his wallet and threw 2 20s on the table. "I'm sorry, but I can't do this. I need a real partner, not a project. You understand, right? It's nothing personal." He walked out. Just like that. Left her sitting there, alone, in front of everyone. The silence that followed was devastating. Collins saw other diners look away quickly, uncomfortable. Some whispered behind their menus. A few stared with pity that was almost as bad as Trevor's cruelty. Tiffany sat perfectly still, her face flushed deep red. her eyes glistening with tears she was clearly fighting not to shed. "Dad," Levi's voice was small, distressed. "Why did that man say those mean things? The lady didn't do anything wrong." Something ignited in Colin's chest. For 6 years, he'd worked at Harborview Rehabilitation Center, helping people rebuild their lives after accidents and injuries. He'd held the hands of patients who'd sobbed about being rejected, about being told they were less than, about being defined by what they could no longer do instead of who they were. He'd watched them fight their way back to living, to believing they deserved to take up space in the world. And this woman, this stranger, had just been told in front of a room full of people that she didn't deserve basic human decency. Not on his watch. Collins made a decision that would change everything. "Levi, how would you feel about making a new friend tonight?" His son's face brightened immediately. "Really? Can we help her, Dad?" "Yes, buddy, we can." Colin stood up, his heart pounding. As he walked toward Tiffany's table,